tell me about your creative writing journey and what inspired it.
Wow. I started my formal journey with the Open University, doing undergraduate courses with them, but I guess that's not really the start of it, because it starts when you're younger, doesn't it, and you're writing in school. And I've always liked to read poems for my friends, you know, for their birthdays and things like that. So I guess I've always kind of written on and off, but I really started writing properly with the Open University a few years ago with one of their courses.
Okay, so what made you choose the Open University to take that path?
Well, it's a bit of a funny story really, because I was looking for some kind of artistic course to do to try and fill my time a bit. I was just working part-time at the time, and I applied for a couple of courses at my local college doing textile design and drawing and painting, and every time I applied for a course they cancelled it because there weren't enough people who wanted to do it. And one of my friends said to me, well, you know, you love writing, you always write me these stupid poems, why don't you do a writing course? And I thought, okay. And then I thought, well, if I apply to the Open University, they're not going to cancel the course. And so I was having a little Google about it, and the course started the week after or something, so it was a really well-timed conversation, and that was it. So I didn't really put a lot of thought into it. It kind of just was a serendipitous thing that happened. So yeah.
So do you prefer poetry, or do you prefer the story element, or
for writing or for reading? Well, yeah, I mean, I like all kinds of writing really, and when I chose my MA at Salford University, one of the reasons I chose that was because I wasn't restricted to just poetry or prose, but I would describe myself as more of a poet if you pushed me. But my writing practice through the MA, because the MA is in creative writing, innovation and experiment, so we got to experiment a lot, and I'm quite interested in poems that exist not on a page, so I like quite unusual things, and my own writing practice has evolved into one where I'm actually writing using textiles with text on them, so I'm not writing with a pen or paper or a computer, I'm writing with thread and a needle. So
the textiles is still something that's a big element of your creativity?
Yeah, I'm doing a PhD now. I graduated from my MA, and I'm doing a PhD that's funded by the Arts and Humanity Research Council, looking at writing as therapy for people with dementia. But because it's a creative writing PhD, I have to do, as well as the sort of traditional thesis theory kind of side of it, the research is through my own creative writing practice. So that is actually going to be a series of textiles, which in my head is kind of like a sequence of poems. So that's what I'm working on at the moment.
So where do you see the journey taking you?
Well, that's a really good question, and one that I ask myself often. I don't know. I mean, I think I've got another 2 years of the PhD. I'm also looking at the moment of extending that, because the people who fund me will fund me to go and do a relevant placement. So I'm looking at, can I find a placement actually working directly with people with dementia, helping them to write and helping them to create something. So in another 2 or 2.5 years, when I've come to the end of that, I would like to do some work with people who have mental health problems. My background's in mental health nursing, so that's something that's, you know, quite close to my heart. But I'd also be interested in, you know, an early careers researcher position somewhere. And I think research into the arts and health is a really growing area at the moment in universities. So keep your fingers crossed for me that once I've got the doctorate, then hopefully, you know, it'll be a real door opener for me. So.
It's been a long process for you, and I know that a lot of things have happened throughout your process.
Yeah.
So how do you think those things have helped you in your time with the creative writing?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's hard. I think it's hard to be a good writer if you haven't had a bit of life. And I've had quite a bit of life, and I think I am quite a sort of angsty writer. I like to be a bit, you know, the stereotypical angsty writer in the attic, you know, like this. So that definitely works for me in my creative process. So I think, you know, and also, you know, I'm looking at writing therapy, I'm looking at how writing helps people or can help people, and I think, you know, it really helps me to have that creativity in my life. I think, you know, it's something that makes life better.
Thank you very much.
You're very welcome.